A very warm good morning to all of you. Dear students, once again I would like to welcome all of you to a new session of the civics class. Today we are going to continue with the same chapter number 2, the President and the Vice President, part 6. Do you remember what we were discussing in the last class? In the last class we were discussing about the discretionary power of the President. Yes, we were discussing about the discretionary power of the President, which means in certain cases the President has to use his wisdom and knowledge. So we were discussing about certain cases where the President has to use his special power. Today we are going to discuss about the emergency powers of the President of India. As we know, the word emergency itself means that it is very important. So let's see what is meant by emergency. An emergency is a sudden or unforeseen situation demanding immediate action. So in certain cases, the President has to act immediately by using his wisdom and knowledge. So that is what really meant by the word emergency. So there are certain cases where the President has to declare emergency. In emergency, the head of the state assumes extraordinary powers and emergency in the following cases. So emergency means it's a sudden or unforeseen situation demanding immediate action. So once if the President is taking an immediate action, he will assume an extraordinary power, or he will be having certain extraordinary powers. So these are the following emergencies, or in the following cases emergency will be declared by the President. First of all, national or general emergency according to Article 352. Second one, breakdown of constitutional machinery, Article 356. And finally, financial emergency, Article 360 according to our Constitution. So these are the three different cases where the President can declare emergency. Let's discuss each one of them in detail. First of all, national or general emergency according to the Article 352 of our Constitution. First of all, we are going to discuss about the circumstances, different situation where the President can declare national or general emergency. If the President feels the security of India or any part of its territory is threatened either by war or by external aggression or armed rebellion. These are the three different situations. So suppose if there is a war or external aggression, suppose these days you might be listening to the news reports which is about the aggression, external aggression of China. So if the President feels that the security of our country or any part of its territory is threatened, if there is serious cases, he can declare emergency. And third one is armed rebellion. Suppose inside our country itself a group of people started to fight against the government or our constitution. In certain cases, in those cases, he can declare general emergency. But the President cannot issue unless he has the approval in writing from the Union Cabinet, which means we have already seen that he has the power to declare emergency if he feels. But at the same time, there is one more condition. The President must get a written approval from the Union Cabinet. Then and there only he can declare the emergency. So these are the different circumstances, or these are the different situations where the President can declare emergency. Now let's move to the duration. The proclamation must be approved by both the houses of the Parliament, which means if the President is proclaiming the emergency, it must be approved by both the houses of the Parliament within 1 month by a special majority. So if, suppose just imagine if the President is declaring emergency today, within the next 1 month, both the houses must be approved the decision of the President, and it must be with special majority. Special majority means majority of less than 2/3 of the members present and voting. Suppose 300 people is the total member of one house. 200 people has to be present and they have to support. So that's what is meant by 2/3 of the members present and voting. If total number of the house, just imagine, for better understanding I am just reducing the number. The numbers of Lok Sabha and Rajya Sabha, you know it. What is the total number of members in Lok Sabha and Rajya Sabha? Suppose if it is 300, for better understanding I am saying 2/3 means. Sometimes it may confuse you, so leave it. We will take the exact number, which means 552 is the total number of members of Lok Sabha. In Lok Sabha, maximum number of representative can be 552. So 2/3 of the total member means minimum 368 members must support. So that's what is meant by majority of less than 2/3 of the members present and voting. So this is the procedure. So this is the duration. So if the President declares or proclaiming the emergency, it must be approved by both of the houses with a special majority, which means 2/3 of the members present and voting. So once if it is passed, maximum period of time will be for 6 months. So cannot remain more than 6 months at a time. So suppose just imagine if the President declared the emergency and he feels that it has to be extended more than 6 months. So again at the end of 6 months it has to be renewed by Parliament by a special majority, else it lapses. Which means again, so the first 6 months are over and the President feels that it has to continue. Then again in the Parliament it has to be discussed and it must be passed or renewed by the special majority. So if in the second time or in the second 6 months, if the Parliament is not approving it, it will lapse, which means it will become invalid. If the Lok Sabha is disapproving the emergency, the President has to revoke the proclamation, which means if Lok Sabha is not supporting or if the Lok Sabha is not passing it, the President has to recall the proclamation. He has to declare it invalid. We have already seen Lok Sabha, especially the cabinet, has to give in return to the President if he wants to declare the emergency. So these are the different factors about the duration of the emergency. Now let's move to the effects of general emergency. So if suppose the President is declaring general emergency, what all effects or how it will affect our life? First of all, how it affects the fundamental rights. It says that exercise of the fundamental rights is partially or wholly suspended, which means according to our constitution provides 6 fundamental rights to each and every citizens of our country. But if the President declared general emergency, exercise of the fundamental rights will be partially or wholly suspended. Fully or partially can be suspended. Even right to constitutional remedies remains suspended. You might be remembering in class 9th you have studied about fundamental rights, and there you have learned about the 6th fundamental right, that is right to constitutional remedies. What is meant by constitutional remedies? If somebody denied your remaining 5 fundamental rights, you can approach the court to get your fundamental rights. Once if the general emergency declared, you cannot even move to the court for getting your rights. That's what is meant by this second point. Even right to constitutional remedies remain suspended, except Article 20 and 21. There will be the safeguards of or the protection of Article 20 and 21. What is Article 20 says? Article 20 says, no person shall be punished for the same offence more than once. Suppose if a person committed a crime, he has already punished for 5 years, and again he cannot be punished for the same offence. Okay, then again Article 21 says, no person shall be deprived of his life or personal liberty except according to the procedure established by law. So these are the different factors how the general emergency can affect our fundamental rights. Okay, now the second one is center-state relationship. We have already seen we have a constitution which can function at the center and the state. We have a state government and central government, and the entire activity of the center and state has got divided into three different lists. You might be remembering. In other words, the entire power of the nation has got divided into three different lists. First one, union list. Second one, state list. And third one, concurrent list. So how the general emergency can affect center-state relationship? First of all, our country follow federal spirit, which means we have a strong center to support the administration of our different states. So the states are obliged to carry out the instruction of the center as per the federal spirit, or as per the federal setup of our country. All the states which comes under our union administration or the central administration has to follow the different instructions given by the center. The state government will be under the complete control of the union executive and will function as under a unitary system. So now, once the general emergency is declared, the entire administration of the state will be coming under the union government. State government will not be having any power, they will not be having any role in the administration of their state. Now let's come to the next point, that is about the finances, how the money matters will be discussed and managed. The center can suspend the financial provisions, like when we were discussing about the three different state list of our country, union list, state list and concurrent list. We have seen the powers has got distributed into three different criteria, and the financial matters of every state directly comes under the particular government which is ruling that state. But here, once the emergency declared, the center can suspend the financial provisions of all the states, such as the distribution of revenues between the center and the states and the salaries of MPs, etc. So all the financial power will be directly coming under the union government. Now, union and state legislature, in the case of making rules and regulation, during emergency, the term of Lok Sabha may be extended for a period of 1 year at a time. Suppose usually the period of time in the union legislature or the parliament, it will be for 5 years normally, unless and until the ruling party is not having any problem about the confidence motion, non-confidence motion. They can rule the nation for 5 years, and by the end of the 5th year, if the government declared a national emergency or a general emergency, Lok Sabha may be extended for a period of 1 year at a time, because once the emergency is declared, new election will not be taking place or election cannot be declared. In such cases, the government will continue ruling the nation for 1 more year at a time. So these are the factors about the general emergency. Now let's move to the second type of emergency or second situation of emergency, that is because of the breakdown of constitutional machinery circumstances, according to Article 356 of our Constitution. If the President, on receipt of a report from the governor, or is satisfied that the governance of a state cannot be carried out in accordance with the provisions of the Constitution, he may declare an emergency in the state. Which means, if the President is getting a report from the governor from a particular state, or the President feels that the particular state is not able to function properly according to the rules and regulation or the provisions of the Constitution, he can declare an emergency in the state. The best example is about Jammu and Kashmir recently, which had happened in our country. When the union government, along with the President, when he felt that the Constitution or the functioning of the particular state was not up to the mark, the President declared an emergency in Jammu and Kashmir. So once the emergency is declared in Jammu and Kashmir, what had happened we know. All the fundamental rights and all other factors, all other features of the constitution has got suspended partially or fully. So breakdown of the constitutional machinery circumstances. That's what we were discussing right now. So in such cases, he may declare an emergency in the state. And we call this particular system President's Rule. So right now in Jammu Kashmir, the President's Rule is going on. In number of states, in different periods of time, this particular system has taken place. So this is a situation if the President is feeling that the governance of the state is not functioning properly, or if he is getting a report from the governor of a state that the state is not functioning properly or the state government is not functioning properly, in such cases he can declare an emergency. In this case also there is a duration, a time period is given. The duration of such an emergency is 2 months. In the national emergency or the general emergency it was 6 months, but in the case of state emergency due to the constitutional failure or the breakdown of the constitution, in those cases it will be of 2 months. If it were to continue beyond 2 months, it should be ratified by the parliament, which means the parliament has to approve. Suppose if the president has declared an emergency in a state due to the breakdown of the constitution, maximum it can be of 2 months, but if it want to be continued more than 2 months, it must be approved by the parliament. The proclamation is to be valid for 6 months. So in such cases, if after 2 months, if it is being extended by the parliament, it will be valid for 6 months. Can be extended for another 6 months. So it can be extended again for another 6 months, and finally, so can normally continued only for a year. So the first 6 months it is over. So again the parliament approved it. So it extended again for the next 6 months. Altogether 12 months are over, which means normally it can be continued or it can be extended maximum only for a year. But there are also certain situations where it has to be extended. It may be extended beyond 1 year under 2 conditions. First of all, when a proclamation of emergency is in operation in the whole of India or in any part of the state, which means suppose in a state the president declared an emergency. After 6 months again it extended for 6 months. By the end of the 10th month, the president declared a general emergency throughout the country or in any part of the state, certain areas, maybe 2-3 states together. In those cases, so that's the first situation where the emergency in a particular state can be extended more than 1 year because of the breakdown of the constitution. Second one, the election commission certifies that holding elections to the legislative assembly of the state is difficult. Suppose if the election commission, central election commission certifies that it is very difficult to contest elections due to a number of reasons. So in those cases, the president can extend the emergency, especially because of the breakdown of the constitution, can be more than 1 year. So that's about the duration. And finally, however, no such proclamation shall remain in force for more than 3 years. So because of different circumstances, it can be extended, but maximum it can be for 3 years. It cannot exceed more than 3 years. Now let's see what are the different effects of emergency in a state. First of all, the state administration is directly placed under the president. So still then the state will be managed or administrated by the state government, but if the president declared an emergency in the state, then the administration of the state will be directly going to the president. The governor of the concerned state acts, which means suppose if the president is declaring an emergency in a particular state, the entire administration will be directly by the president, and the governor is the representative of the president, so he will be doing the things according to the instruction of the president. In such cases, the president may dissolve the Vidhan Sabha of the state and dismiss the council of ministers. So he can dissolve the state legislative assembly and dismiss the council of ministers. That state council of ministers or the ministers of the particular state can be dismissed, or he can keep the assembly and the council of ministers in suspended, which means they will remain, or they will be continuing as the ministers, but they will not be having any kind of powers, because power will be going to the president. So keep the assembly and the council of ministers in suspended. So once the emergency is over, those ministers can continue with their power and position. In both cases, the Union Parliament can pass laws. So if the president is dissolving the Vidhan Sabha, or if he is keeping the Vidhan Sabha and the council of ministers, in both the cases, the parliament can pass laws even on all the subjects of the state list for that particular state. We have already seen about the three different lists: union list, state list, and concurrent list. Union list means the cases or the in matters where the center can make rules and regulations, and the state list means in matters where the state can make rules and regulations. So even in the state list, or even on all the subjects of the state list, the parliament can pass laws. Even the annual budget of the state is presented to and passed by the parliament. Actually, the annual budget of every state will be discussed in the state legislative assemblies in the presence of the council of ministers of that particular state. But in the case of state emergency, or because of the breakdown of the constitution, if there is an emergency in a state, the annual budget of that state is presented to and passed by the parliament. When the Lok Sabha is not in session, the president may authorize expenditure out of the consolidated fund of the state. Consolidated fund means it's a kind of reserved fund for the state, not only for a state but even for the center. It is there. So if the Lok Sabha is not in session, the expenditure of the state has to be done. So in those cases, the president can manage it from the consolidated fund of the state. Second one, the president may suspend the provisions of the constitution relating to any authority of the state except those relating to the high courts. So if the president declared an emergency in a state, except the authority of the high court, in all other matters he can manage things, which means he can suspend the provisions of the constitution relating to any authority. And again, this form of emergency is quite common in India, and president's rule has been imposed in a state at one time or the other. So it is quite normal, it is quite common in our country. That's what I have told you in the previous slide about the condition or the situation in Jammu and Kashmir right now. So the president can force, or he can declare emergency in any state according to the situation. So it is quite common in our country right now. Now we are moving to the third circumstance, that is financial emergency according to the Article 360. The different situations where the financial emergency will be declared by the president. If the president is satisfied that a situation has arisen whereby the financial stability or credit of the nation is threatened, he can declare a financial emergency. So if there is some problems with the money matters or the growth of the nation, especially in the financial matters, or the financial stability or credit of the nation is threatened, he can declare a financial emergency. Its duration means it will be put in front of both houses of parliament, which means it will be presented in both Lok Sabha and Rajya Sabha, and will be valid for 2 months. So normally the validation or the validity of financial emergency will be for 2 months, and it must be approved by both houses of parliament. So it will be placed in both Lok Sabha and Rajya Sabha, and its validity will be for 2 months, and if it want to be valid, it must be approved by both houses of parliament. If the Lok Sabha is dissolved but passed by Rajya Sabha, which means the president declared a financial emergency, but during that time Lok Sabha was not existing, or the Lok Sabha was dissolved during that time. So in those cases, it will be directly going to Rajya Sabha for the discussion. But Rajya Sabha passed the decision of the president. That means the financial emergency has got validity. In such case, it will have the expiry of 30 days from the date on which the Lok Sabha first sits after its reconstitution, which means, so the Rajya Sabha passed the decision of the president. After 3 months or 4 months or 6 months, whatever the period, a new party has formed the government and a new election has taken place. As a result, a new Lok Sabha has got constituted. So suppose on the first day of a month they have taken the charge and the Lok Sabha started to function normally. From that day till the next, or till the first 30 days of the parliament or the Lok Sabha, the financial emergency will be valid. So within the first 30 days of the functioning of Lok Sabha, it must be discussed in Lok Sabha and it has to get the approval of Lok Sabha. Then and there only it can be valid. Now let's see what are the effects of financial emergency. The president may appoint a finance commission. So if there is a financial emergency, something related to the growth and money matters of the nation, he can appoint a finance commission. We have already seen it is a special privilege of the president where he can directly involve or where he can directly appoint certain commissions. And we have already seen in the first part of this chapter where he can appoint a finance commission. And according to the suggestion, and they will be giving certain methods. What is the reason behind the appointment of finance commission? To suggest methods to get out of the financial crisis. So if there is a finance commission is being appointed, they will study about the situation and they will suggest to the president certain methods to get rid of the financial crisis. And the president will take necessary steps in the light of the recommendations of the finance commission. So the finance commission will study about the problem and they will suggest some methods, some measures to overcome the financial crisis, and according to their recommendations, the president will take necessary steps. He can reduce the salaries and allowances of all or any class of persons, including the judges of the Supreme and the High Courts. So different criteria or different kinds of officers are there who are functioning, who are working for the smooth functioning of the state. So he can reduce the salaries and allowances of all or any class of persons, including judges of the Supreme and the High Courts. All money bills passed by the Lok Sabha are to be submitted to the president for his or her consideration. So in the case of money bill, all the money bills passed by Lok Sabha must be given or submitted to the president for his or her consideration. The president can issue instructions to the states in regard to the utilization of funds in the manner he thinks fit. Already there is a financial problem, a financial crisis is there. That's why he had declared financial emergency. That's why just because of that, the president can look into the matters of the states with regard to the utilization of funds. And the state has to function, or the state has to follow the instructions given by the president, because he is the person who is having the responsibility of solving the financial problem. The president may order the state to submit money bills to him for his assent. So, if there is a financial emergency, the president can ask the state to discuss all the money bill matters or all the matters with related to the income and expenditure of the state with the president. Financial emergency has never been declared since the promulgation of the constitution. So, from 1947 still this 2020, India never faced any financial emergency, and that's why we haven't faced any such problems, or it never affected our life. So dear students, these are the points about the emergency powers of the president. 3 different circumstances where the president can declare emergency. First one, general emergency, due to the attack or due to the assertion of another country or due to some of the threats or rebellion, the president can declare general emergency. Second one is because of the breakdown of the constitution, the president can declare emergency in a state. And third one is financial emergency, because of the problems with the financial stability or credit of the nation, the president can declare financial emergency. So these were the points which we were discussing in today's class. With this, we are winding up this chapter, and I hope that all of you have got a very clear picture about the chapter. You will be trying to understand all the points which I have discussed in today's class, as well as the previous classes which I have explained to you. In the next class, I will be coming up with a new topic, a new chapter. Till then, I would like to sign out. Thank you.